Hi, I'm Bryan Dickinson, and the purpose of this video is just to explain a little bit about a technique I've been trying to develop to look at harvestmen. What I was finding, I was looking for harvestmen throughout the year, but come the autumn it was just raining so much it was just too wet to use a sweep net. The sweep net was just getting totally drenched and everything in it was soggy. So I was thinking of a technique I could use to find harvestmen on a regular basis, and obviously the harvestmen would be down in the vegetation trying to shelter away from the rain. So I was looking for some waterproof shelters that I could lay out and go and visit regularly, and then I'd find the harvestmen whenever I wanted to find them. So the first thing I tried was a plastic egg tray, which I thought would be waterproof and would last a long time. But what I found was the harvestmen just don't like the texture of them, and they don't seem to like sheltering underneath them as they are, just plain plastic. So the obvious next thing to try out was a standard cardboard egg tray. And these worked really well. The texture on them seemed fine for the harvestmen. But the problem with the cardboard trays as they are, they just get too soggy and they're just too fragile. Not going to last very long on site at all. So the ideal solution I found was actually combining the plastic egg tray and the cardboard egg tray together, and that protects it from the rain and also supports it really well. But the problem is these plastic egg trays are quite difficult to get hold of. So one practical solution I've found is this 2mm plastic sheeting. It's often sold as Anti-Knox, which is a brand for protecting flooring. Builders often use it for when they're doing building work in houses. You can buy it in most hardware stores and builders merchants. So this would be the complete set with the cardboard tray, the plastic roofing and just some string to stop it blowing away. How many will you need? Well, it depends on what you're planning to do, but I suggest if you have 10 or 20 of these in a particular area, that would be really useful for sampling the harvestmen. So where you want to put them really depends on your particular project. You can either just choose particular pieces of vegetation that you're quite interested in and seeing all the harvestmen there, or you can be a bit more systematic about it and place them at regular intervals. Maybe you can count 20 paces between each site. One site that I've been sampling is this piece of woodland. We're here in North Wales and it's about 800 feet in altitude. This is a new plantation. It's about 25 years old. It's all broadleaves. We're under oak at the moment, and the ground vegetation, nothing special. It's just grasses and brambles and a few bryophytes. So when you place them on the ground, you need to think a little bit about how you actually do that. You don't want the trays totally squashed down to the soil surface, because you need to leave some air spaces for the actual harvestmen to crawl underneath. And you obviously don't want them too high up on the vegetation either, otherwise you're not going to sample the harvestmen which are crawling along on the ground surface. I tend to just lay them fairly lightly, make sure there's a space underneath, and put something on just to stop them blowing away in strong winds. So another thing you might consider is the different types of vegetation on the ground. Maybe that will affect the types of harvestmen you find sheltering underneath. Okay, let's have a look at this one. So, tip it over carefully, and I'll do a quick scan around the edges to make sure nothing's running away, and then I'll go through each cell one by one. So there's a large spider in the first one. We've got a harvestman here, a woodlouse, another harvestman here, looks deceased, or maybe just plain dead, another spider, another woodlouse. Each egg tray I've given a number, and then I'll record whatever I find on there, whether it's a spider which I'm not identifying, how many woodlice, how many slugs, and then the harvestman of course. If I can identify them to species, I'll record that. If not, I'll take them back and have a closer look. What I'll use is a small paintbrush and just a plastic pot, keep them in, which I can number with the same number as the tray if I want to. There we go. and they're both playing dead, so they're not running away too fast. Then I'll replace the tray in more or less the same place. Maybe just change the position slightly. Put the weight on just to stop it blowing away. We do have one here, just in the top. So again, I would have a closer look at that and identify it. So this tray has been here quite a long time, so it is getting fragile, but it should be good for a few more weeks yet. And that's pretty much it for the technique. I think it's quite useful. There's lots of different things you could use it for. You could compare different habitats and see how many harvestmen or different types of harvestmen you get in each one. You might put the trays out and keep them going for a whole year and see how the numbers change from month to month. So one of the most important parts of the technique is it's not a trap, it's only acting as a shelter, which means that if you miss a day and you can't come and check them, it doesn't matter. You can just leave the trays in the woodland for as long as you like, and just check them whenever you're able. Just one point to finish on. This is a private woodland where we've got the permission from the owner to lay them out. So always make sure you have permission from the owner wherever you're placing them. And at the end of your project, make sure you take all the trays away and don't leave anything behind.